Place your career on the map today, then plot the next smart shift. You've seen how income pipes work and why save more can't carry your 5-year vision alone. Now I want to give you a simple compass for career and cash flow decisions so you don't get seduced by random internet advice. Robert Kiyosaki's ESBI model divides how people earn into 4 quadrants: employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. It's not a personality test and it's not a hierarchy of better people. It's just a map of how money reaches you and how dependent that money is on your personal hours. The left side, employee and self-employed, usually means high dependence on you showing up. The right side, business owner and investor, leans more on systems, teams, assets and time working for you. The goal isn't to abandon the left side. The goal is to design a mix that reduces stress, raises your earnings per hour, and buys you options without blowing up your life. Let's define these quickly in plain language. Employee means you sell your time and skills to one organization for a salary and benefits. Done well, it's stable, it lets you compound credibility, and it can be highly lucrative if you keep raising your value per hour. Self-employed means you are the product, consultant, freelancer, doctor in private practice, designer, coach, agency of one. Income usually rises faster than salary when demand is strong, but your calendar is the bottleneck and your stress can spike if you don't set boundaries. Business owner means you build a system, people, processes, distribution, software, that delivers value without you being in every room. You still work, but the machine produces cash flow even when you step back. Investor means you own assets, equity, debt instruments, real estate with sober math, businesses or royalties, that pay you because capital and time are compounding, not because you opened your laptop today. Here's the truth most money conversations skip. You can be in more than one quadrant at the same time, and the healthiest 5-year plan for a working professional is often a mix. You might remain primarily unemployed while adding a self-employed sliver for a couple of hours a week to raise income now, then build a small business system around one sliver of your skill, and all along keep feeding the investor quadrant through goal-aligned SIPs. That mix can be more resilient than going all in on a fantasy that collapses at the first shock. Left side pays your today. Right side funds your tomorrow. The intelligent move is to let the left side underwrite experiments that gradually push you rightward without breaking your evenings, your health, or your integrity. Let's place you on the map. If you are salaried and most of your cash flow arrives on the first of the month, you're primarily in E. If you do projects on weekends and money lands when you deliver, a piece of you already lives in est. If you've built a small team or a repeatable process that earns even when you take a day off, you've tasted B. If you're regularly investing with a time horizon and not touching it to solve this month's mood, you are in I. None of this is a moral judgment. It's just a snapshot, like your EDL page and your EPH number. When you see your quadrant mix honestly, the next move often suggests itself. There are predictable traps in each box. In E, the trap is sleepwalking, believing loyalty alone will raise your EPH. Loyalty is lovely, outcomes are paid. The fix is to document the value you create, negotiate from shipped results, and learn skills that move you up the value chain. In S, the trap is being permanently booked because you never productize or price for outcomes. The fix is a waitlist, clear scope, a minimum price, and at least one productist service or digital asset that scales without you. In B, the trap is building chaos, hiring faster than you standardize, or chasing revenue before you install reviews, dashboards, and cash controls. The fix is boring playbooks, a simple CRM, and weekly numbers. In I, the trap is cosplay, calling anything with a chart investment. The fix is a written policy that matches assets to time horizons and your risk capacity, not your neighbor's. Let's connect this to your 5-year canvas so it's not a theory lecture. If your vision emphasizes freedom and family, a pure S life with 70-hour weeks will contradict your values, no matter how much you earn. If security ranks high, you probably want a stronger E base with a patient I build and a very selective S or B expansion. If growth is central, you may accept a season of S intensity to fund B systems and I contributions faster, with a clear cutoff to prevent burnout. Your values are the referee here. right, is what you can sustain and feel proud of when your head hits the pillow. Now I want you to see how your day 2 work sets up day 3 movement. Your EPH told you what an hour of your life is worth today. Your 30-day plan bought you slack by killing shooting stars and feeding tree roots. That slack is not for mindless upgrades. It's for deliberate quadrant shifts. If you're purely E today, maybe your next move is to add a tiny S lane for 2 evenings a week, capped and priced to respect your health. If you're already S, your next move could be to turn the most repetitive part of your work into a product and bring a junior under a simple standard operating procedure, which is the first step into B. If you're B curious but allergic to chaos, your next move is to build a small system around distribution instead of fulfillment, affiliate a product you trust and prove you can generate demand without touching delivery. And wherever you are, your I move is to keep increasing your SEEP towards long-term goals while keeping short-term money in the right low-risk buckets. Small, repeatable moves are more honest than grand declarations. A quick Indian example to ground this. A senior developer in Pune sits squarely in E and has 2 kids. He documents 2 process improvements that cut deployment time by 30% and teaches the team. 6 months later he negotiates a raise on outcomes, not hours. With the slack from day 2 cuts, he pilots a 2-hour-a-week S-lane mentoring juniors on interview prep at a fair price, then records the most common modules into a simple digital product so some of that income becomes leverage. He doesn't quit to become a founder. He maintains a strong E, adds a controlled S, tiptoes into B with a tiny product, and feeds I with a long horizon equity C. 5 years later, his quadrant mix looks different and his stress score is lower even if life stayed busy, because hours depend less on his daily stamina. Open your workbook and mark your current primary quadrant with a simple tick. If 2 feel equally strong, choose the one that pays most of your bills today. Just below that, write the mix you want in 5 to 10 years. Be specific. You might write, primarily E with a meaningful B slice and consistent I, or S for the next 2 years transitioning to a small B system while steadily funding I, or E plus S for now, then reduce S and raise I as SIPs grow. Keep it your language, not mine. What matters is that you can imagine the calendar and the cash flow, not just the labels. Under that, complete one honest line. My next realistic shift is from ____ to more of ______. If you're purely E, you might write, from E to more of S by doing 2 focused client projects a month. If you are S with no products, you might write, from S to more of B by productizing my most common service and hiring 1 junior. If you're allergic to selling but want to move rightward, you might write, from E to more of I and a tiny B while affiliating a program I believe in and automating the funnel. Your sentence should fit your values, your season of life, and your energy. If it doesn't, we won't do it, and I'm not interested in plans you won't do. Let's anticipate 2 objections so they don't ambush you at 11 PM. The first is fear of dilution. Won't I get average at everything? Not if you state shifts and protect your core. Keep your E healthy while you test S in a narrow niche. Keep S stable while you productize one piece into B. Feed I steadily and forget about the month-to-month noise. The second is identity discomfort. I'm not a business person. You don't have to wear a new label. You only need to choose one behavior from the next quadrant and try it for 90 days. Behaviors change identity, not the other way around. To close this module, take 30 seconds and look at the sentence you wrote. Imagine the calendar weeks that make that shift real. If your shift is from E to more of S, picture the 1 evening you'll protect and the 1 client type you'll say yes to. If your shift is toward B, picture the simple checklist or template you'll turn into a product or the junior you'll train. If your shift is toward I, picture the standing SEEP date and the review ritual that stops you from fiddling. The picture should feel possible. If it doesn't, make the shift smaller and nearer, then write it again. We are designing a life that sustains itself, not a motivational poster. In the next video, I'll walk you through 4 realistic income opportunity paths that fit our context: insurance distribution starting with motor, mutual fund distribution with patient SEEP trails, affiliating my coaching program if it aligns with your values, and monetizing what you already know through ebooks or DIY tools. You'll score them against your values, time, capital and learning curve, and you'll pick one primary and one backup to test. Keep your ESBI page handy. Every decision you make now should push your mix gently toward more calm, more options, and more hours that pay you back long after you've closed your laptop.